We continue our Demolishing Barriers segment this morning with a story of overcoming grief. Here's Simone Coury.
On July 16, 2011, the unthinkable happened to Elizabeth Vinturella. Her 12-year-old daughter Samantha was involved in a boating accident near Shell Beach. Her body would be discovered 3 days later. That sudden tragedy left Elizabeth and her family shattered. But over time, Elizabeth Vinturella learned how to turn her heartbreak into hope for herself, for others, and her family.
Let me tell you about my daughter, Samantha. She was joyous. She was bright. She had just gotten her babysitter's license and was making cards to start babysitting. She was a dancer. She was doing a Bible study, and joined her youth group at church. She was really wonderful.
She was
full of personality. She really was. My world as it was ended that day, but it also began an unbelievable walk after that.
What got you through those first days, those first weeks? You had to have been in a state of shock.
Absolutely. I truly was. I will tell you that when something tragic happens in the world, you really learn what a beautiful place the world is. People love generously. They come bearing gifts of all sorts, whether it's of physical means or whether it's emotional support, whether it's prayer, openly receiving those things and realizing that you have to be in a place of receiving those things. You know, the Bible teaches it's better to give than to receive, but we all have to sit in that receiving chair at some point, and to do that is what made a difference in my life.
So many people in a tragedy like this ask why. How have you answered that?
Sure, and certainly why was a part of my journey. You know, I asked why a lot, and there was one scripture that kind of just resonated within me that says, lean not on your own understanding. Like, you will never know the answer.
Yeah.
You'll never get it.
Right.
And why creates this circular spinning? And so just let go of that. And then the other part of that resolution was my husband. He was a rock, and he would look at me and he'd say, why not us?
Ooh.
Why not? Would you wish it on somebody else?
Leaning on her husband and Samantha's older sister, Brooke, and most of all her faith, Elizabeth's heartache would eventually lead to her purpose.
There were many experiences that I had to go through where events meshed with one another, and to think about all of them together would overwhelm me. Whether it was trying to get Brooke to have a good day, to think about how in the world am I going to do Christmas without Sam, that there's going to be an empty chair, and all of the traditions that we had once relied on, they were gone, and they all had to be reinvented. And to think about that, and to think about that much space would crush me. It was too much for me. So I learned to say, just do today.
And what started as a mantra became a blog, justdotoday.org.
And there's an online place where I kind of write and share. And I've also recently done some speaking and sharing of my story lately, and that is a blessing for me to do after what I've been through. That is the beautiful part of it. Mm-hmm. And it is the time that I spend with Sam. Mm-hmm. You know, when I'm getting up, I'll say, come on, girl, let's go share your story. And that brings peace to me. That brings joy to me, actually. After losing her, I loved being a mother. I loved being her mother. So it gives me time, she and I.
Elizabeth now travels around the country speaking with groups about coping with and overcoming grief. You can learn more about her story and her mission at justdotoday.org.